Welcome back. Well, Beijing apparently taking sides in the 2020 election, with the Global Times endorsing Joe Biden this week, labeling him as smoother to deal with than President Trump. This, of course, is state-run media, the Global Times. So when you see something in the Global Times, that means it came from the CCP. This is on the heels of the Democratic National Convention, where party leaders avoided mentioning China and China's role in unleashing COVID-19 on the world entirely. Joining me right now is the White House trade advisor, Peter Navarro. And Peter, it is great to have you this weekend. Thanks for being here. What are your expectations for this upcoming RNC? And why do you believe that China wants Joe Biden in the White House?
Well, that smooth thing you see is those are jobs going offshore smoothly to China. But Maria, this whole election's setting up both in China and with the DNC as a battle between a nice guy and a tough guy. And we like that matchup because I think the people of America will always choose a tough guy in the White House over a nice guy because they know the world's a dangerous place. You got dictators like Xi and Putin. You got the state-sponsored terrorist mullahs in Iran, Rocket Man on the Korean Peninsula, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. Tough guy. But I do want to challenge this notion of the DNC that somehow Joe Biden is a nice and empathetic guy. So let me ask you a couple of questions here. Does a nice guy vote for NAFTA and ship millions of jobs off to Mexico and spawn millions more illegal immigrants coming north? No, but Joe Biden did. Does a nice guy let China into the World Trade Organization and have tens of thousands of factories across the Midwest go to China? Here's the thing that I find most unnice about Joe Biden. He likes to say he's the kid from Scranton, but he spent all of his years in Delaware, right? What is Delaware? It's the tiniest state, and it's basically a post office box drop for the big multinational corporations that send our jobs offshore. But more importantly, it's the credit card capital of America, right? Joe got his start with lobbying money from the credit card companies. What does that mean? If you go, for example, in 2005 to the Bankruptcy Act that Joe Biden pushed for the credit card companies, that prevented both people with heavy student loans and credit card debt from being able to declare bankruptcy. And it was something that Liz Warren was really angry about. And people like these credit cards, they're like addictive, right? You get your credit card, you miss a payment, pretty soon you're paying 20%. One other thing about the unnice part of that credit card thing, Hunter, where's Hunter? In 1996, Hunter became a paid employee of the biggest credit card company in America. And then 5 years later, he went to work as a lobbyist for that industry and still got $100,000 a year from MBNA. So when you talk about Joe Biden, I mean, why aren't you hearing about this? We've heard a lot about all the other stuff he's done, but that credit card stuff, I mean, every person in America who's had a credit card has at one point faced a balance where they had trouble paying. And Joe Biden is the guy who made sure that your interest rate went up to 20% if you missed a few of those payments. And again, where's Hunter? Hunter, and we get back to China. Hunter, okay, he's on Air Force Two, and he brings back $1 billion for his hedge fund in the 2000s. That's why they love Joe Biden. They know he can be bought. They know he's compromised.
All right, Peter, let me talk about the upcoming election and what the president's plans are economically. I'm looking at a Bloomberg story right now, Peter, and it says wages are soaring over 25% in a key region of a battleground state. That is Wisconsin. The corner of Wisconsin emerging as America's hottest jobs market right now. 2 metro areas there ranking near the top nationally in income gains. Apparently, they're up 25% in July year over year in 2 areas of Wisconsin. We know the wage story before COVID-19 hit. What is the president going to do to get us out of what has been a sharp contraction if he were to get a second term?
Well, when you mentioned Wisconsin, the president takes a micro approach to macroeconomic problems in places like Wisconsin. If you look at the shipyard up in Marinette, Wisconsin, we work really hard to make sure that shipyard is viable. In Oshkosh, you got a big combat vehicle plant. In Maine, for example, just this week, Ambassador Robert Lighthizer pulled off this amazing thing where he got tariffs eliminated for Maine lobstermen, which were having trouble competing with Canada and across Europe. So at the micro level, what I love about Donald J. Trump is he basically works on jobs at shipyards, at vehicle plants, at F-16 plants in Greenville.
Yep.
But the big picture here is to continue the agenda of deregulation, tax cuts, energy dominance, and fair trade deals. And that's exactly the opposite of what the Biden administration would do. But the other thing I think that you're going to hear from Donald J. Trump is how we are going to fight China and the China virus. We are coming hard at the China virus. We have been doing that since January 31st, when the president pulled down the flights from China, and Joe Biden called it racist and xenophobic. President saved hundreds of thousands of lives. The multi-vectors of attack, Maria, we're taking with the China virus start with onshoring, what Kevin McCarthy talked, onshoring our production of PPE and medicines. That's critical.
Yep.
Racing to get therapeutics like remdesivir and monoclonal antibodies. And then Operation Warp Speed is the most incredible thing anyone has ever done in the medical arena in the United States government. Because
yeah, I mean, all those pharmaceutical companies, companies working together is quite extraordinary. Peter, it's great to have you this morning. By the way, Senator Tim Scott mentioned opportunity zones. We're going to talk with the HUD Secretary tomorrow on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business. Ben Carson will break news on those opportunity zones tomorrow. It's all good. Peter, thank you so much. Peter Navarro.